again. Welcome to class 213. Okay, we're progressing. ¿Dónde estamos? Where are we? Point 16. A review of regular verbs, third column. Dios mío. How long did the Second World War last? Well, it started in 1939 and it ended in 1945. So, it lasted 6 years. How long did the First World War last? Well, it started in 1914 and it ended in 1918. So, it lasted 4 years. How long did this American Civil War last? Well, it started in 1861 and it ended in 1865. So, it lasted 4 years. Really, 4.5 perhaps. And how long did the 30 Years' War last? Well, it started in 1618 and it ended in 1648. So it lasted 30 years. How long did the 100 Years' War last? It lasted more than 100 years. When did it start? I don't remember. In the 13th century. And when did it? No, 13th century, no. It started in the 14th century. And when did it end? It ended in the 15th century. But when? I don't remember. Well, what important person died during the 100 Years' War? Joan of Arc died. Who? Joan of Arc. No te entiendo. I don't. Joan of Arc? Juana de Arco. Yes, Joan, escrito Joan, Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc died during the 100 Years' War. So, the 100 Years' War ended in the 15th century. I don't understand your logic. Well, Joan of Arc died in 1431. What? Yeah, Joan of Arc died in 1431. And she died during the 100 Years' War. So, if Joan of Arc died in 1431, and it was during, not after, during the 100 Years' War, that means, eso significa, that means that the 100 Years' War ended after Joan of Arc died, later. Okay. So, if the 100 Years' War really lasted 126 years, creo recordar, then the 100 Years' War started probably around 1420. And it ended maybe in 1546. Okay. Who won? Who won what? Who won the war? The English, I think. Finally. Yes. Yeah, Henry V, Enrique V. How do you know Henry V won? Oh, the Battle of Agincourt. The Battle of what? The Battle of Agincourt was very important. How do you know these things? William Shakespeare. He wrote Henry V, a very famous play. All right, so the 100 Years' War lasted 126 years, I think. How long did the French Empire last? What French Empire? The Napoleonic Empire. It lasted about 10 years only. How long did the Spanish Empire last? Interesting. Well, it depends on what year the Spanish Empire started. If we start the Spanish Empire with Christopher Columbus in 1492, and we continue until 1898, when Spain lost Cuba and the Philippines and Puerto Rico, then the Spanish Empire lasted 1592, 1692, 1792, 1892. So the Spanish Empire lasted 406 years completely, from the discovery to the loss of the last possessions. The Spanish Empire lasted 406 years, which is very long. Empires usually don't last so long. And the British Empire? The British Empire lasted less. Also, it depends. When did the British Empire start? I don't know. Let's say, digamos, let's say the British Empire started in 1750, in the middle of the 18th century. And it ended in 1947. So from let's say 1747 to 1947. So it lasted 200 years. 1849, the British Empire lasted 200 years as an empire. Why 1947? You say the British Empire ended in 1947. Well, that's an arbitrary date. I choose 1947 because that was the year the British returned India to the Indian people, and the creation of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh. India, East Pakistan, and West Pakistan. That was in 1947. All right. How long did this class last yesterday? This class lasted 26 minutes yesterday. It lasted. El verbo to last, durar. Más cosas, need. Did you need those pencils yesterday? Not really. I used them. Los utilicé, pero no los necesitaba de verdad. I didn't need them. I mean, I don't need these pencils. I can teach without them, using my imagination. But they help. But did you use all the pencils yesterday? No, I didn't use all of them. I didn't use all the pencils. Why didn't you use all the pencils? Because I didn't need them. The day before yesterday, I needed them. Remember? The day before yesterday, the last class, no, the class before last, I needed all the pencils. Do you remember? Because you remember I said the cup is empty. You remember? Yeah, you don't remember? Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. So yes, I needed all the pencils yesterday, the day before yesterday, but I didn't need all the pencils yesterday. Richard, yeah. Did you shout at Marta yesterday? No, I didn't shout at Marta yesterday. Well, when was the last time you shouted at her? I never shout at Marta. Sometimes I shout to her. Oye, Marta. Oye, mira. Tráela. But I don't shout at her. To shout at is you're angry. Marta, this is the last time. This is the last time I'm going to tell you this. I don't shout at Marta. It's not my style. It's not my temperament. I'm a very easygoing person, an easygoing person, mild-mannered, like Clark Kent, the mild-mannered reporter from the Daily Planet. So, yeah, I'm an easygoing. I don't shout at people, except once every 2 years. Okay? I show my teeth, or once every 2 years. But I didn't shout at her yesterday. But did you shout at anybody yesterday? No, I didn't shout at anybody. Well, when was the last time you shouted at somebody? The last time I shouted at somebody was maybe 8 months ago. All right. Well, when was the last time you shouted to somebody? I don't know. I don't remember these moments saying, Marta, tu paraguas. Yeah, okay, no, I probably shouted to somebody last month. All right, shouted. Did you want to become an English teacher when you came to Spain? It wasn't my idea, no. I didn't want to, well, it's not a question of whether I wanted. It's not a question if I wanted to become an English teacher. I simply became an English teacher. Spontaneous generation, yeah. I wasn't against, in fact, I didn't even think about it. I started teaching English because I needed to make some money. It wasn't my intention to teach English for the rest of my life. But I started teaching, and I'm still teaching after all these years. Be careful when you start doing something, especially if you're 20, 22 years old, 23, be careful what you choose. Because at least in 50% of the cases, what you choose at the beginning, you do for the rest of your life. So choose something lucrative or something stimulating intellectually, something with possibilities or potential. Don't choose something with no potential simply to make money at the beginning. Because many times, I repeat, you say, my God, I've been working in this job for 46 years. ¿Será posible? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? All right. Wanted, dead or alive, wanted. I learned Spanish. I started learning Spanish because I wanted to learn Spanish. I came to Spain initially because I wanted to come to Spain. Nobody put a gun to my head and said, Richard, go to Spain. Nobody put a gun to my head and forced me to come to Spain. I came here on my own initiative. I came here because I wanted to come here. I didn't come here because I had to come here. I came here because I wanted to, not because I had to. I came here because I wanted to. Fíjate que se añade el tú colgado ahí. Vine aquí porque quería. No vine aquí porque estaba obligado. Because I had to, porque tuve que venir. I had to. I came here because I wanted to. Yeah. And I started teaching English because I wanted to. Well, not necessarily because I wanted to make money. I needed to. I needed to make money. I came to Spain with $300 only. And after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I had $150. So I didn't have enough money to pay the rent in my apartment. So I needed to start working. And I started working as a teacher. I didn't necessarily want to become a teacher, but I became a teacher. Not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. No porque quisiera ser profesor, sino porque me hacía falta ganar dinero. Me hacía falta ser profesor porque era más fácil. Not because I wanted to. I became a teacher in 1974. I became a teacher not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. You understand the difference? Ahora bien, fíjate otra vez como la partícula tú se queda colgado al final. Sí, me hice profesor no porque quería, sino porque necesitaba hacerlo y para ganar dinero. Not because I wanted to. Se corta después del to. Claro, está implícito el resto de la frase. I became a teacher not because I wanted to become a teacher, but because I needed to become a teacher. Es redundante repetir become a teacher. Entonces cortamos, claro, y en español también. Me hice profesor porque quería, porque me hacía falta, no porque quería. Y es implícito en castellano ser profesor o convertirme en profesor. En inglés igual, pero el tú se queda pegado. No se junta. Se junta. So I became a teacher not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. Wanted, needed. And Richard, did you buy a house when you came to Spain? No, I didn't. When I came to Spain, I didn't buy a house, I didn't buy a flat, I didn't buy an apartment, I didn't buy anything. I rented. Oh, you rented a car. No, I didn't rent a car. I used public transport, but I rented a house. Oh, you rented a house? No, excuse me. The word house is generic. I rented an apartment when you came to Spain. The first time or the second time? Well, the first time. The first time I came, I stayed in Barcelona, in the University of Barcelona for 2 weeks. Then I came to Madrid, and I stayed in the Colegio Mayor José Antonio, then, in the Complutense. And then I rented an apartment on Rosales Street, Pinto Rosales. And I rented an apartment with 3 other students. And then I took a long trip around the Mediterranean, Italy, Greece, Israel, Turkey, etc. And then when I came back, I spent 2 weeks in Pensión Gracia, in Calle de la Luna in Madrid, with Gracia de Triana. Gracia de Triana was a famous cantaora de flamenco. And when she was 50 years old, she started a hostel or pension, una pensión. And the name of the pensión was Pensión Gracia, because Gracia de Triana. And I stayed there. When I came back from my long trip to Turkey, Israel, Greece, Yugoslavia, Italy, France, when I came back, I didn't have a place to stay. So I went to a pensión, to a pension. Que no existe en inglés ese concepto. Pension, digamos. And I stayed in the Pensión Gracia for 2 weeks. And then I moved to another family. I moved to live with a family, a Chilean family. A what? A Chilean family. What's Chilean? Ah, familia chilena. Yes, a Chilean family. For 1 month. And then I moved and lived with a Spanish family. Okay. And then I went back to the States to finish my degree. Well, how long did it take you to finish your degree? Well, after I went back, it took me 1 academic year and a summer session, sesión de verano, to finish my degree. When did you finish your degree? I finished my degree in the summer of 1974. And then what did you do? Well, then I came back to Europe. Oh, did you come to Spain? No, I didn't. No? Well, where did you go? Well, first I went to London. Oh, how long did you stay in London? I stayed in London, en Hacemos. I stayed in London for 1 week only. Where did you stay? In London. Yeah, but where did you stay? Aquí estoy usando el verbo to stay, lo he dicho en anteriores clases. Stay significa básicamente 2 cosas, quedarse o permanecer. How long did you stay? ¿Cuánto tiempo permaneciste en Londres? Estuviste, se diría. How long were you in London? How long did you stay in London? Pero si alguien te dice, where did you stay? Siempre está preguntando por tu alojamiento, tu hospedaje. Where did you stay? I stayed with an American couple. Did you know them? No, I didn't know them. Well, I don't understand. You went to London, and the first night, Where did you stay? On the first night I stayed with an American couple. And you say you didn't know them? No. Well, why did you stay with them? Well, because their son was a classmate at the University of Texas in Austin 1 month before. And I had the telephone number of his parents. And so when I landed, from the airport, when I landed in London, from the airport, I called his parents, who at that time were living, pasado continuo, vivían, quien a la sazón, o en aquel entonces, vivían in Londres, an American couple, who at that time were living in London. And I called them, yeah, and what did you say? Well, I introduced myself. Okay. And I told them I was a friend of George's, their son. And they said, oh, you're a friend of Trey. I said, Trey. I said, yes, in the family we call him Trey, but his name is George. I said, yes, I have just arrived in London and I'm looking for a place to stay. What do you recommend? And the wife said, I recommend you come to stay with us. All right. I was lucky. I have a voice that on the telephone is, people like it. And so the wife said, okay, I like the voice. He's a friend of my son's. Maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't, but it was true. So I spent a week in London, and I stayed with a classmate's parents, an American couple living in London, in a nice house, because the father was the general manager of the British subsidiary of an American company. And then I went to Paris after that. And how did you go to Paris? I went by train. Oh, you went by train. Did you go on the tunnel under the English Channel? El Canal de la Mancha se llama en inglés el Canal Inglés. O sea, los ingleses se han apropiado del canal. So, it's the English Channel. The French say le Canal de la Manche. Yes, the French. Canal de la Manche means el Canal de la Manga. Really, in Spanish, you say el Canal de la Mancha, which is strange. It's an incorrect translation. It should be in Spanish el Canal de la Manga, like in French, de la Manche. All right, but in the British English Channel, typical British. So, no, but the tunnel didn't exist at that time. This was before the tunnel. So I took a train from London to Calais. No, ¿qué digo yo? I took a train from London to Brighton? No, Brighton, no. What's the name of it, Martin? What's the name of that between Calais and Dover? Dover. I took a train. I'm getting too old. I'm forgetting things. I took a train. I caught a train. Well, I took a train. It's easy to take. Yes, I caught the train in Paddington Station in London, okay? Where did you catch the train? I caught the train in the station, and I took the train to Dover. I got off the train and walked to the port. And in the port, I caught a ship, a ferry, to Calais. Really? How long did it take to cross? It took about an hour and a half to cross the English Channel. It took about an hour and a half. And what did you do in Calais? I caught a train. Really? And where did you go? Well, I took the train to Paris. Okay. I took the train to Paris. And what did you do in Paris? I found a place to stay. Where did you stay? I stayed in a pension. Where was the pension? Or the hostel, hostal? It was in Montmartre, behind Sacré-Cœur, behind El Sagrado Corazón. Ah, is that a bohemian area? Yes, it's a relatively bohemian area, now and before. It's a little seedy. All right, but seedy, what's that? Bueno, por aquí te lo enseño. Un poco, no de mala muerte, pero be careful. But I like the area. So I stayed in Montmartre. And how long did you stay in Paris? I stayed in Paris for a week. And then what did you do? Then I came to Madrid. Estoy. And I became an English teacher. And I'm still here. But I'll be back tomorrow.